season. But again, we've got Cynthia Garrett joining us. Of course, Sir Elton John is here as well. And what I would like to ask you right now, Elton, is with this particular CD, I mean, my favorite song, The Bridge, is virtually you. It's the piano. It's some ethereal voices that we have from the band. It's a very personal song. But then, here we go. We have a song that has the full production number that we've just seen. How do you decide when you're writing it's going to be a really, really big, full orchestration or when it's going to be really personal?
Well, there's not really any orchestra on this album, but when you look at a lyric, you kind of, and you play around with the piano and the chords, you kind of know whether it's going to be fast or up-tempo or mid-tempo or a ballad. Looking at The Bridge, it was such a beautiful, sparse lyric, and it's such a beautiful subject because it's about, you know, everyone in their life has a crisis, and you have to cross that bridge and you have to get over it. Otherwise, you never forgive yourself, and you live the rest of your life wishing that you made a certain other choice. It's about taking a leap of faith. And then a leap of faith is what you do when you're writing the songs. You know, you have to say, listen, I'm going to go with this. I've got to go with my instincts for this, but it's going to be a very stark song. Or, for example, there's a track on the album called Just Like Noah's Ark, which is a really up-tempo rock and roll song. And you just look at it and you went, I've got to do this. This has got to be up-tempo. But The Bridge, for example, just cried out for something very stark and very, very, very simple.
Right. You know, you're just performing a lot of the new songs for us here. And in the show here, Red Piano, you're performing a lot of your old songs. And I'm curious, you know, standing over there watching you, if there is a song that you still enjoy performing more than any other song to this day.
It changes because, I mean, I've probably sung your song nearly at every concert I've done. I've never been tired of singing that, but songs come and go. For example, Sorry seems to be the hardest word, which is on this package, on the live package. Had a complete renaissance in England from a band called Blue recorded it, and I did a guest appearance on it and went to #1. Then Mary J. Blige recorded it, and then Ray Charles and I recorded it. So that kind of had a renaissance. And then I think Clay Aiken just recorded it for his album. And then Tiny Dancer, which is, of course, you know, was from the Madman Across the Water album and was a hit when it first came out in America. And we played it, and then we left it out, and then we played it. But then Cameron Crowe made a movie called Almost Famous, and it gave that. And so I really love singing Tiny Dancer now. And it changes. I mean, the great thing about having a large catalogue is that you can leave some songs out for a while, bring them back, and when you bring them back, we've just brought Yellow Brick Road back into the show, which is we haven't done for 5 years, and it's so great to sing that song again. But give them a rest, and then bring them back, and they sound fresh.
Do you feel sometimes that when you're sitting down at the piano, when you know you're supposed to be going over something for this album, The Captain and the Kid, or something you're supposed to be doing for this show, do you find yourself just sort of tooling around in the piano and going back into some of those other melodies? You just feel impulsive to play something?
Not really, because I mean, I've got pretty bad memory, so whenever we have to rehearse for a tour, I have to get the band to teach me the old songs, because I've written a lot of songs. I find myself noodling new stuff rather than old stuff. And, you know, you're always in search of the perfect song. Ever since we started writing, we've been in search of the Holy Grail, which is the perfect song. You know, we've nearly found it, but we haven't found it. We never will, probably will. But as long as you keep searching and try and improve and try and look for that perfect song, you hear it from other people and think, God, why couldn't I have written it? It's like, you know, you always think, God, that's the most incredible song. But from your own critical point of view, you're still chasing that dream.
One of the things I personally have enjoyed so much about you as an artist and a human being is your commitment to doing something good in the world, your charity, the help you've given to victims with AIDS research, and you know, as vocal as you've been about your life, you've also alluded to the fact that it's the greatest growth that we experience in our downtimes, and it really is. I don't know, it's a funny thing about human beings. We learn the most when we're struggling with ourselves internally.
Well, you have to confront your demons, and if you don't, then you're going to have a pretty miserable life. And when I did get sober in 1990, I was influenced by some personal friends, and of course by the life and the death of Ryan White and his whole family. And I knew that my life was, you know, not a particularly nice life to lead, and I knew that I had to change it, or change it or bust, basically. So I decided to change it, and it's the best thing I ever did with my life.
But would you change? Would you, if you had to do it over again? would you change anything? Because it's all of that makes you who you
Well,
are today.
I wish I'd have gotten sober a little earlier. I mean, it went on for 16 years on and off. I mean, I wasn't drunk and stoned all the time,
Right.
but I wished that I'd known. There's a complete difference to me leading the life I live now and the life I lived then. It's you weren't an adult. You were just looking for something. You weren't prepared to grow up, and I think you have to grow up sometime. And it's led to, say, to the forming of the AIDS Foundation. Also, an incredible interest in breast cancer research, which I do every year at the Waldorf Astoria for the Estee Lauder breast cancer benefit. And because so many friends of mine have had breast cancer, that I have to do something for people that have breast cancer. And friends of mine have colon cancer, so I do stuff for colon cancer. If friends of mine are touched by something and I have the time to do something, then I will do something, because, I'm in a position to be able to do something,
Right.
to rattle a few cages and to get people to part with a few pennies. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be $1 million, or it can be $1 million, or it can be 5 cents. It doesn't matter as long as people give you the donation. Kids send their pocket money into us, and it's just so touching. It's as touching as someone giving us $1 million. It's like, I've saved this money up, and I saw you on the TV, and I'd like to give this to your AIDS Foundation. And it's incredible. So I'm in a position to help people. I'll do it. It takes precious little of my time, and it's something I feel I have to do now.
And what many people don't even realize is that you were knighted for the benefits you've done for your charity work, and not to say all of the wonderful songs that you've written throughout your illustrious
No, I think
career.
I got it really for the philanthropic work that we do,
Yeah.
and which I'll be doing for the rest of my life. And you know what? It gives me just as much pleasure to do that as it does to release an album or write a song, because I know that I'm indirectly helping someone. And we've got the fight against cancer and the fight against AIDS, and the fight against any horrible disease. Alzheimer's disease is a shocking, horrible disease. Parkinson's disease. I'll do anything for people if I can.
Your music is the gift that enables you to do all of these wonderful things for other people. And I've grown up around a lot of musicians, and I look at you with these eyes of just like, wow, this is God puts his hand down in these situations.
When I got sober, I said, I haven't been put on this earth to waste my time. I've been put on this earth to do something much more positive than when you take drugs and you drink a lot, you become very self-obsessed. And God knows we're blessed enough with the benefits that we get from selling records and doing tours. There was another reason for me to be here, and the reason for me to be here was to give back and to do something positive with the talent I had, other than just doing it for myself.
And that's why we're so incredibly happy that you're with us today, because we know you're so busy. You have a show to perform tonight, and with all the charities that you work for, to donate an hour of your time, we appreciate it.
Very pleased to be here.
And he's going to perform just one more time for us in a moment, but I want to remind you again of what exactly is happening here. We're broadcasting live from the Coliseum Theater in Caesars at Las Vegas. You are watching QVC, and this is the 2-CD compilation set that we have for you today. So you're getting The Captain and the Kid, the latest CD from Elton John, but you're also getting the CD that cannot be found anywhere else. It is the bonus CD that has 5 tracks on it, all of which are live. 2 of which are Someone Saved My Life Tonight, one of his old favorites, and also Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word. But the other 3 are live versions of the songs on this album. An advanced order that ships on November 13th. The price is under $18, so you can order it for the holiday season. But right now, I know we want to hear you play, obviously, the title track from this album, The Captain and the Kid. So
Okay,
without further
thank you.
ado, thank you, Elton, so much for being here today.
Okay.